welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 2 quick and affordable Christmas DIYs. Both of the projects in today's video are inspired by some of the Christmas decor that I've seen out in stores. As you guys know, I love creating my own home decor, and I thought it would be really fun to try to create my own version of some of those decor pieces that I saw. If you guys want to see today's projects, then just keep watching. For today's first DIY, the materials I used were green, tan, and white felt sheets, all from Walmart, 3 different size pine tree images that I printed from my computer, my hot glue gun, 6-inch dowels from Dollar Tree, 12-inch dowels from Hobby Lobby, Waverly chalk paint in plaster, folk art chalk paint in Java, paintbrushes, scissors, and wood slices that came in a pack from Hobby Lobby. To start this project, I'm cutting all 3 of my printed pine trees out, and I am cutting the trunk of the tree off since I won't be using it for this project, and I'll also have all 3 of these printables down below in the description box. Next, I'm using the largest tree cutout, and I'm folding that right in half. And then I'm folding my green felt sheet in half and placing my folded tree printout right onto the felt but along the folded edge. And then I'm taking 3 little pins and just pinning my tree onto the felt so that it doesn't move around once I start cutting. You don't have to use the pins, I just thought it would make it a little bit easier. Now that I have everything all pinned, I'm cutting out the felt along my tree. And after I have all of my felt cut, I'm then removing the pins from my tree. And now I'm repeating the same steps as I did to make my first green felt tree. I'm folding the green felt in half and then placing my folded printed tree right onto the folded edge of my green felt. And I'm using 3 small pins to pin my tree into place so that it's nice and secure when I'm cutting. And then I'm just cutting out the felt along the edges of the tree. And then once all of my felt is cut out, I'm removing all of the pins. And now I'm continuing those same steps as I did to make my green felt trees, to make my white medium-sized felt tree, and then also my small tan colored felt tree. Next up, I'm folding my green felt tree in half, and then while it's folded in half, I'm placing some hot glue on the outer folded edge at the very top, and then I'm pressing that onto my 12-inch dowel rod. To finish attaching my folded tree, I'm placing some hot glue right onto the dowel and then pressing that folded center part of my tree right on the hot glue to fully attach it. I'm continuing this same step over and over again until my dowel is completely covered in my green felt trees, and I did use 6 felt cutout trees for this. And I used all of those same steps to do my medium white felt trees and then also my small tan felt trees. Once I have all of my felt glued on, I was going to leave the dowels this unfinished wood color, but I decided I wanted to have them painted, so I'm painting them with my Java colored chalk paint with just a little bit of paint on my brush and then just running it over the dowel to give it kind of like a distressed real tree trunk look. It would have been easier if I would have painted these in the beginning, but like I said, I thought I wanted to have them unfinished, but afterward I decided to have them painted. Next, I'm drilling holes into 3 of my wood slices. 2 of the holes are going to be a little bit larger to fit the larger 12-inch dowels that I used for my large and medium tree. And then my smaller tree that I used the 6-inch dowel, it's a little bit thinner, so I did a smaller drill bit. And I measured the drill bit by matching it up to the size of the dowel. And for the last step, I'm placing some hot glue in the holes that I just drilled and then placing the dowels right inside of the holes on top of the glue. This is going to help all of the trees stay nice and sturdy, and I did this for the small, medium, and large trees. These are my trees all finished. I'm so happy with how they turned out, and they were so easy to make. What's great about these is you can use them in your winter decor, not just for Christmas. Now moving right on into DIY number 2, the materials I used for this project were 3 house-shaped wooden pieces from Michaels, music note paper from Hobby Lobby, Waverly chalk paint in ink and also in plaster, folk art acrylic paint in Old Ivy, matte Mod Podge, paintbrushes, a sponge brush, sandpaper, scissors, jute, a black permanent marker from Dollar Tree, painter's tape, these mini Christmas ornaments from Walmart, Christmas stems from Walmart, my hot glue gun, letter stickers from Hobby Lobby, and burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree. To start this project out, I'm placing one of my house-shaped wooden blocks on top of my music note paper and then tracing around it. Once I have it all traced, I'm using some scissors to cut it out. Next, I'm painting all of the sides of this wooden house with my chalk paint in the color ink, and I only had to do one coat of this paint. Once that paint has completely dried, I'm then using some Mod Podge on the front of my wooden house, and I'm applying it using the sponge brush, and I probably used a little bit more Mod Podge than I needed, but it worked out fine. I'm then applying my cutout music note paper right on top of that wet Mod Podge, and then rubbing out any of the bubbles with my fingers. After the Mod Podge has dried about 15 minutes or so, I'm taking some more Mod Podge and applying it on the front of my music note paper just to make sure that it's attached nice and secure, and then letting that dry for another 15 minutes before I'm taking some sandpaper and then just sanding off any of the edges or overlapping music note paper. Originally, I was going to have the sides of this house distressed, but after I was done sanding, I decided I wanted to have them really crisp and black, so I'm going back in with my ink colored chalk paint once again and just touching up any spots that had got sanded off when I was sanding off the edges of my paper. Now you're going to be seeing the back of this house. Originally this is the look I was going for, but I ended up not liking it, so this is now the back of the house. But I just put some hot glue on the back and applied some jute to it to attach it, and then I'm just wrapping the jute around the house about 5 or 6 times so that I have a nice thick line of jute at the top, and then I'm hot gluing it again on the back and then just cutting off the ends of the jute. Next, I'm taking this Merry Farmhouse Christmas mini ornament from my pack of mini ornaments from Walmart, and I'm stringing a piece of jute through it, and then just taking that piece of jute, stringing it underneath the jute that's wrapped around my house, and then tying it off in a knot and cutting off any of the extra long jute ends. That was the last step for that mini house. Now I'm going to be moving on to a second house, and for this one I'm painting the entire thing in my chalk paint in the color plaster, and I did 2 coats of this paint. Now I'm placing some painter's tape right in the center of this house and then applying another piece of tape right above that one, leaving a small space in between, and then continuing that on the top of the house and then also on the bottom of the house, leaving a small space in between all of the tape. Now I'm using my chalk paint in the color ink, and I'm painting that in between all of the open spaces between my tape. I'm putting just a small amount of paint on my brush since I want all of my lines to be very distressed. Once all of that's painted on, I'm peeling off all of my tape. And for the very last step on this house, I'm using all lowercase letters from my letter pack from Hobby Lobby, and I'm spelling out the word Noel. I'm placing those stickers in the very bottom right corner. Now I'm moving on to my third and final wooden house. For this one, I'm painting it in my acrylic paint in the color Old Ivy, and I did 2 coats of this paint. Once that paint has completely dried, I'm then using my chalk paint in the color Plaster, and I'm dry brushing that around all of the edges, the sides, and the front of my house. Now I'm measuring my burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree around the front of my house and then just cutting that down to size. And as you'll see here, I went ahead and painted the back of my house because I didn't like how it looked unfinished. And then I'm just hot gluing that burlap ribbon onto the back of my house. Next, I'm taking a piece of jute and I'm wrapping it around my 2 fingers quite a few times to form a circle. And this is going to be the wreath that I'm placing on the very front of my house. And then I'm hot gluing my little jute wreath at the very top in the center of my house and using just a little bit of hot glue in a few different places to make sure that it's all nice and secure and glued down. I'm cutting some of this greenery from my Christmas stems from Walmart, and then I'm cutting the greenery down into small sections so that it's easier for me to glue on top of my wreath. To attach the greenery to the jute wreath, I'm putting some hot glue right onto the jute and then pressing the greenery right onto the hot glue to attach it. And I found that it works best if you work in small sections so that it doesn't look overcrowded and you can still see some of that jute popping through. I'm taking a doubled piece of jute and I'm making a small bow out of it. I'm cutting off the long ends, and to attach it to the very top of my wreath, I'm using a little bit of hot glue. And the last step for this house, I'm attaching this wooden word that says bright that I got in a pack of words from the Target dollar spot. I'm placing some hot glue in a few places on the back of the word and then pressing that on my burlap ribbon. These are my houses all finished. I love how they turned out. Each and every one of these houses is a little bit different from each other, but all of them would work great with any farmhouse decor. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps out my channel. If you're not subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe, and be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified for all of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching.